Drop that shit, daddy.
Walt said every bitch was born to break a man. Nigga stealing off my plate, then I'm breaking his hands. You ain't gon' follow through, no use in you making the plans. I'm dipped in gold on that purple like a Laker fan. Extended the clip on the thumper, a couple of shots. I'm on some Avon shit, snatched a couple of blocks. My little Asian chick with the wonderful top, she called me daddy cause she never did fuck with her pops. 24/7, I'm working at 8 to 8. First nigga breaking the tape in a paper chase. First thing a nigga doing on a day-to-day. I say my amazing graces, get a few out the safe. Life good, and that's something I finally could say. Her arsenal of artillery, nobody is safe. Watch who you call your road dog, cause your dog and your flake. It's hard to squeeze the trigger on him and look in his face. What happened to the loyalty and trust, nigga? Let it rip, now haunted by the soul of a fuck, nigga. This something that only him, not the team did. So I'm cold-blooded like Bishop up in Raheem crib. What happened to the loyalty and trust, nigga? Let it rip, now haunted by the soul of a fuck, nigga. This something that only him, not the team did. So I'm cold-blooded like Bishop up in Raheem crib.
No loyalty in the streets today. Got so say sleeping with his AK. C39 gotta get their mind right. No slip ups behind my life. Fuck nigga era, let me tell it. They still smoking Reggie, I can smell it. You know me, always minding my business. Till some bitch ass niggas try to mind my business. Then I gotta put my 9 in my business. Show these niggas I ain't playing, make them mind they business.
What's happening? What's happening? Let's get right into it. I am Nug, the narrator. This is That's My Take podcast. I want to thank y'all for joining me September 18th, 2023. Let's get right into it. World news. Iran prison swap. U.S. citizens freed in a $6 billion deal. 5 Americans jailed for years in Iran and widely regarded as hostages are now on their way home to the United States. From what I heard, they were in what I researched, they were in a rough prison, like rough conditions. I'm glad that they free home, on the way home, away from that, because from what I heard, this was like one of the worst prisons on the planet type shit. But hey, moving on. Japan says 1 in 10 of their citizens are aged 80 or above. Let me put that in perspective for you real quick and kind of get my lighting a little better. I ain't liking that. Let's see. All right. There we go. A little bit. I'm just black shit. But no, the country is getting gray. Like 1 out of 10 people are over the age of 80 in Japan, man. Like real, that's like more than 10% of Japan's population is now age 80 or older. And this is according to its government. The figures was released by the government, and basically it's saying that anybody that's defined as the age of 65 and older will be considered elderly. And it is also a record high, compromising 29.1% of the population, the highest rate in the world. So, in other words, that's like one of the oldest countries by age per citizen right now. I thought that was pretty interesting. Moving on, at least 20 people, mostly mine workers, were killed in South Africa on Sunday after a bus they was traveling erupted into flames following a head-on collision with a truck. 20 people were confirmed dead on the scene, while 2 others died at the hospital. It is not immediately known how many people were on the bus and if there were any survivors. I really don't like reporting sad news like this, but again, we're sending prayers to everybody that was killed in that accident on that bus, 20 plus people. Condolences. Moving on to some other news. In Britain, a nurse, she gonna spend the rest of her life in prison for murdering 7 babies. Lucy L. See, we don't do last names on That's My Take podcast. So if you want to go and look up the story from what I leave you with, please go ahead. Lucy L, 33, was handed a whole life order by Manchester Crown Court in Northern England. And that just really short, she will never be released. L refused to appear in the dock. She didn't come to none of the courts. She just basically refused. And now they changing the laws saying that you have to appear in court in London now. Like before, I guess this, you could be like, I don't want to go to sentencing. Anyway, she didn't attend. She was found guilty by a jury. And the case horrified the country and made her Britain's most prolific child serial killer of recent times. Like, whoo, I heard about this story on the Star Report, hosted by Star, my mentor. And also, if you're not on his channel, please frequent the Star Report. Whole lot of knowledge. But no, I heard about this story the very first time on his podcast, and like she was a nurse in like prenatal care, killing babies. Like, what else can you say except for evil? Like, evil does exist. Don't never think it don't. Evil exists. Moving on. Son of the Mexican drug lord El Chapo, his son, he has been extradited from Mexico to the United States. And this is an announcement by the Department of Justice. If you can remember, El Chapo's wife, she just walked down her 3-year sentence and was released. Now the son is actually being extradited to Mexico to start serving his time. I mean, I don't know. Nothing really to say except we all know El Chapo, and obviously, like father, like son in most cases. That's what they say anyway. That's it for the world news. Again, I'm kind of playing around with different formats. I'm thinking about either scratching world news altogether or keeping it up front so I can knock it out, because keeping it real, I don't be wanting to read about no sad shit and report about no sad shit all the time, just keeping it real. But on to U.S. news. A 78-year-old was arrested in Florida after he shot his neighbor and killed him while trimming trees. Edward D., 78, is accused of second-degree murder in the shooting death of Brian F., 42, according to the sheriff's office. My only take that I could say is, like, you never know your neighbor. Like, and this is a true story, and I ain't about to go too deep, but I done got into it with my neighbor. At the same time, you never know, what your neighbor go do. So definitely don't get into it with neighbors as something you just start doing or making it a habit, because you don't know. Like, you really don't know. So with that being said, me and Nabe, we cool at the moment, but like, I don't know, dude, like a Vietnam vet or something. So, I might be in the news one day, because shit, I'm going to protect mine, shit. And not to go off on a tangent, but the reason me and him got into it was over property lines. And I tell y'all every episode, I am a realtor, but this podcast is not about real estate. It's about everything but to keep it real, Nabe and I got into it because he feel like the driveway to the right of it is his, when me as a realtor then pointed out not once, not twice, but 3 times that, dog, I get 12 feet over here. I know the driveway here, but I get 12 feet of that. That's me. And what I do there, that's all me. So again, he cool. I'm not this macho guy who go at people, but I'm always protect me and mine. Like, that's simple. But yeah, pretty crazy. Moving on. We go stay in Florida though, which is kind of crazy. A black bear was seen in a tree at Disney World. It triggered closings at the Magic Kingdom. I mean, I would think a bear would make you kind of want to shut down Disney for a while. But no, the bear was likely in search of food ahead of the winter hibernation season, according to a source. So, the bear, I guess, left his wilderness and found his way to the Magic Kingdom, but nobody was hurt. They found said bear Obviously, it stalled a lot of the long ass lines in Disney, even longer. But other than that, Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, all them still getting their cake and they straight. Moving on. An African American student was suspended for wearing dreadlocks. Yes, this is in today's time. This is in Texas. But the school says it wasn't discrimination. Daryl G., a junior at his high school in Texas, received an in school suspension after he was told his hair fell below his eyebrows and earlobes. I mean, I wear dreads. I've been wearing dreads since 1997, roughly. Prior to that, I was in Catholic school where we had to wear a one level type of haircut. Couldn't be nothing out the ordinary. You basically went to St. Augustine, you had to fall in this certain line or this paddle was gonna whoop that ass. And I can't act like I ain't never been paddled. Shit. The board of education, real. That shit, that motherfucking shit gets you straight quick though. But no, obviously my take is that's bullshit. Dreads don't make you, dreads don't define you, dreads don't make you negative, dreads don't make you positive. Dreads is basically a hairstyle now. And again, I know some people who might see this and be like, well, it's deeper than that. And I'm not going to act like I'm that deep. Like, I got dreads for a couple of reasons. I love Bob Marley. My grandfather told me I had some Jamaican in my blood somewhere. And shit, I got tired of wearing the same haircut. I was in Catholic school from 7th to 12th grade wearing a one level haircut. Nah, I grew the dreads, and believe you me, I'm not ashamed of them. I wear them back a lot because again, I am a real estate agent. But no, this is part of me. Like this is part of Nug, straight up, like real talk. But no, I just obviously thought that how you wear this? I'm also trying out this bucket hat thing. I ain't the best with bucket hats, and this like one of my first attempts in a while. I feel like I got a big ass forehead. It's more like a 6 head, but I mean, I don't know. Let's see. I think it was looking pretty good when I had it on. There we go. Yeah, the way I was rocking it. But nah, back to it. Dreadlocks. Come on, man. Like, stop it. It's 2023, September 18th, 6:40 something Central Time. You got dreadlock doctors, you got dreadlock murderers. Come on, man. Like, we can't just be like, okay, you got dreads, something's wrong here. No, but, and I will say, but, if his school was private, yeah, you got certain things you got to abide by. But as far as I'm reading, it was a public high school. So again, I don't get the suspension because of the dreads. Your hair longer than your earlobes. I don't know. Moving on. 9 teens were found after escaping from a Pennsylvania detention center following a riot. All were caught by early Monday morning. The facility is around 15 miles west of where the convicted killer, Daniel Delano C., was captured on Wednesday after nearly 2 weeks on the run following his escape from Pennsylvania. My take is them kids was in there probably talking crap about the dude that got away. And if you look at the way dude got away, it might make you want to try something. So I guess 9 of them was like, look, we about to try this. We about to get away too. But the next morning, they was caught the next morning. Again, I thought it was a pretty interesting story. We got one more U.S. news before we go on to another one. Wrapping up U.S. news, Las Vegas is still struggling against hackers. Room reservations and sports books were still dark across much of Las Vegas this past Friday as the betting community battled through its 5th day of a battle against hackers who struck the city's biggest hotel chain, the MGM. I'm a gambler. I love the MGM. When I'm in Vegas, I usually either stay or end up at the MGM by that gold lion. I don't know. I love it. I'm a Leo. I don't know what to say. I love MGM. But yeah, I mean, if hackers could get in the MGM and shut down that, listen, please, no, a hacker could get into your little laptop, phone, whatever. Get you some VPNs, get you some extra security malware, and pray. And don't be a target. Don't use simple passwords, stuff like that. Again, I'm not giving advice. This is purely an entertainment show, but that's what I'm thinking as my take on hackers shutting down Vegas betting. That's huge. Like I say, if they can shut down Vegas, they can shut your ass down too. Moving on to hip hop and entertainment news. BG of the legendary group The Hot Boys, free man, back in the studio after being released from prison. A recent video is circulating online showing the rapper back in the studio. The video footage is basically 1 or 2 days old, and the man working. He out, he free, he doing what rappers do when they get out. They rap. If I recollect, I once was a rapper, and I never got in no trouble where I was in prison, super long, but I've been arrested a couple times. And when I got out, I probably went to the studio and, had some therapeutic sessions. Moving on. Gunna dethrones Drake for the 2023's most streamed hip hop song in the US. Fuck You Mean is still in heavy rotation, and it's so far the biggest rap song of the year after beating out the Six God Search and Rescue. Baby, come and rescue me. All right, act like y'all don't sing that shit. Act like when that shit come on, y'all don't sing y'all that hard. Anyway, Gunna, I guess he proving snitching don't matter. I'm from old law. Snitching do matter. Simple. Moving on. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's 7-year-old son give paparazzi the middle finger. Saint, Ye's son, basically flipped the bird at the paparazzi, then giggled after he made the crude gesture. Kim, who was there, she didn't approve, and she slightly reprimanded the boy and tried to cover his face with her hand. Parenting 101, obviously you don't want the kids flipping off folks, but I'm more than sure the paparazzi with being annoying. That's what they do. Moving on to sports news. Colorado, the Buffaloes. Coach Prime now has the Colorado Buffaloes 3-0. Just beat their in-state rival, Colorado State. It took overtime, but they pulled off the win. In the win, we did have a big loss. Colorado's two-way star athlete Travis Hunter will be out at least 3 weeks, according to Coach Prime. I think that was a dirty hit.